Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first season, first episode of the Post podcast. I'm super excited to begin this new venture and journey with you. If you are coming here from my Instagram handle, Come Hither Energy, I want to personally welcome you. We've been rocking for a minute. I'm so happy and excited that, we get to kind of formally meet, if you will. Um, I kind of mentioned on Come Hither Energy that this podcast is meant to be an extension of that space. So if you aren't familiar with Come Hither Energy, I encourage you to go check it out. We just have created together an amazing space of collective, like minded people who are on a healing, wellness, mental health journey in some capacity. And it is a really safe space. It is, we don't get a lot of nasty, weird, disrespecting or disrespectful commenting. It's just been a really unique and neat space. So check it out if you haven't already. And, if you are from that space, you know that I have been talking about starting a podcast. I have even, put feelers out about the podcast is going to start. Last night I was like, podcast, I'm going to upload it at midnight. That didn't happen. This has truly been a challenge for me to do live content. I've never done live content on my page at all, which is truly a testament to that space because I've had that space for a little over 3 years. And like I said, we have now over 30K followers, and that is on the strength of words. I write a lot. Writing has always been my comfort zone. And I created that space at a time where I really needed a space to write about my feelings and communicate where I was in my healing journey. So yeah, it's amazing to me that on the strength of words, we, have just brought together all these people. So check us out if you are not from, coming here from Come Hither Energy. But with that, Post podcast is going to be an elaboration of things that I'm already talking about on Come Hither Energy, Instagram space. I want to dive deeper into some of the work that I've been doing and talking to you about how I've been healing from some of my issues. One of them being I consider myself to be a recovering codependent. So I'll be talking to you a lot about just how I've been navigating that journey. Also, I started the Come Hither Energy space after losing my dad, and that was a very significant loss for me. My dad was my favorite human on the planet. So having, you know, kind of experienced this major loss, um, it then just kind of sent me on this trajectory of really intense and intentional seeking of healing. So since then, I have done probably about 3 to 4 years of therapy, two of them being specifically a trauma based therapy called EMDR therapy. And I'll talk about that in a later episode. Um, but yeah, just really intentionally trying to like wrap my mind around some of the past events of my life and the direction I want to go in my future. And I really feel like I have healed from a lot of things that have happened in the past. And I'm now just like in a really good space. I'm in a really good space, which allows me to talk to you about the things that I've gone through and healed from in a way where I'm not as triggered or really, not triggered at all. The way that I protect myself and set a boundary around sharing is I make sure that I'm only sharing things with you that I've already really processed and over processed, whether in therapy, or just on my own, and really feel a sense of peace with these things. So now I can talk to them with you and hear feedback even from you without being triggered by it. So that's how I protect myself. I will not likely share things that I have not processed or I'm still working to process, because that just, you know, sets you up to be confused. So um yeah, so I'm excited to share with you some of the things that I've gone through. One of the intentions, again, as I am creating this space, you know, I feel like when I was beginning my journey of intentional healing, because I feel like I've always been a person who is self reflective and wanted, you know, to know why I operate the way I operate, even from a very young age. Like as a child, like I was very, you know, aware of myself in this world, and I wanted to understand myself in relation to the world. So that has always been how I operate, but I didn't really have a lot of guidance or tools as I was operating in the world in that way. So it was just, you know, by circumstance sometimes or surprise that I would end up, you know, a mentor would show up in my life or a book would show up in my life, or I would seek therapy and then that would, you know, help perpetuate a thought. But there was a lot of time that I spent on this journey being unaware of what I was actually supposed to be working on. So with that, I feel like I was always kind of on a journey of some sort, but just maybe without direction, if you will. And now I feel like I have direction. So, or at least a vision for where I would like to go. Um, yeah. So, with that, I am prepared to share with you all what this journey has entailed for me thus far. And I think that you're going to find, as I talk about these things, that they're things that are not just unique to me, but just similar to all of our journeys. Um, whether it be the loss of my father and grief, or depression, anxiety, um, codependency. There's a whole gamut of things that I want to talk about. Content is not where I am lacking. I have content for days. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. Um, it's the logistics of getting the content to you, so the technology behind it. And then I just have to work through layers and layers of self-doubt. So yeah, that's the obstacle, but it's not the content. I'm ready. I got plenty of trauma to tell you about. But with that, I wanted to say this. In my journey and in my search, I have found that there was a lot of information about the beginning, like the trauma. So the actual events, the experiences, the sad, horrible things that happen to humans. And then there was the other end of the spectrum where there was a lot of information about the success, the aftermath, the, you know, living on an island, sitting crisscross applesauce every day at the beach, making millions of dollars. Like, and no real, you know, focus on the middle. Like, how did you get from the trauma story to the beach? Like, how? So I spent a lot of time on this journey being told that I just had to do the work and not understanding or knowing what the work is and feeling lost and confused. My hope is that with this podcast, I can extend to you a life raft, just a light, if you will, in the darkness, to say that you are on the right track. If you are here and you are listening to this podcast, tuned into this podcast, if you're following the Come Hither energy space, I'm here to tell you right now that you are doing the work. If nobody else has told you that, that is, as I learned, the work. Which is why I think it's so hard for people to describe it, because it's not really a tangible thing and everybody's work is so different. But I want this space to focus on the middle, to focus on the work, to focus on not so heavily on the trauma, the horrific experiences of it all, and not even on the beach. Like, let's talk about the middle. Like, how do we get from the trauma to the beach? That is what I want this podcast to be about. So I'm going to tell you how my journey from the trauma story to my personal beach, and my hope is that as I tell that story and I show up as authentically as I possibly can, that something I say will resonate with you and you will be able to take that and use it to help advance you in your journey. Because to me, that is what this whole thing is about. It is about us growing and learning and sharing in our testimonies to help advance and grow each other. Because I'm really starting to understand that there are no singular victories in humanity. If I'm winning at the expense of somebody losing, the civilization crumbles. And I think that's what we're missing. Like, if all the women heal, but the men don't heal, what, who, what, I don't know what that even, what do we do with that? Um, yeah, like, so, and I don't want to talk in gender specifics. I'm going to try to be as mindful of that as I can too. But, you get what I'm saying. Like, it just, it never made sense to me. If I heal myself and I'm able to, garner some level of success, whatever I deem that to be for myself, and then I just take all of that and all of my resources and go harbor it somewhere else and live, I don't know, I guess in isolation in my happy little place, which wouldn't even be happy because it would be, on a hill in isolation somewhere. So my thought is, why not share what I know with you so that you can also, have an experience like mine? Because this has been the most awful and humbling, rewarding, transformative journey of my life. I don't know how else to put it. The work is hard. Like, if anybody tells you that it's not, I don't I don't know that. I don't It's been hard for me. But with that, on the other end has come a lot of ease. So it's almost like anything. It's like working out. It's like, if you injure yourself and you have to go through rehab, like, it sucks. Like, who wants to go rehab after getting in a car accident? Like, that's not fun. So when I say it's hard, that's what I mean. Like, it's not fun sometimes, this journey. But the reward, being able to walk on both legs and stand up on your own 2 feet, the reward of this journey is nothing like it. Like, where I'm sitting now, this testimony and what I'm about to talk to you about, there's nothing that compares. So I'm excited. Yeah. So I think I'm going to cut us here. I'm trying to also be mindful of the fact that I learned somewhere that podcasts are usually like 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to continue this conversation into probably the next few episodes. So you're going to see me wearing the same outfit with the same face and all of that. But just know that I've recorded one long episode, because once I get comfortable, like, it took me a lot to get to this space, to get to this couch, to get to this camera, to get to you. But once I am here, and this is just how my brain works, it's on and popping. We about to get it on and popping. We about to talk about all of it. So if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have feedback, go ahead and drop that and, get that to me because it's go time, y'all. I'm excited. I'll see you on episode 2.